I'd like to call to order Townsend Conservation Commission meeting for Wednesday, September 11th, 2024, at 7:01 PM. Can I have a roll call, please?
James Dorian, present.
Jim Malone here.
James Gates.
Kevin Smith.
Kevin, you mind leading us in the pledge of allegiance?
That's the date.
Fly.
I know.
Absence of world.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just look to the book.
Okay.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's what's all off, but you know, flag.
Next time.
This meeting is being recorded. Is anyone else recording? Chairman's additions and or deletions. You guys want to vote for officers tonight?
Let's see why we have to.
I don't care. It's up there.
Yeah, we'll just leave it there.
Roll to the next one.
Kevin,
Excuse me?
vote for officers tonight or no?
No.
That,
Yeah, that's not.
I know you
go
did.
with other.
and someone make a motion to move it to the next meeting.
I motion that we move the electing of officers to the meeting of what? It will be
September 25th,
September 25th,
2024.
2024.
Yeah, second that.
Roll call vote.
James Dorian, yes.
Jane Dalton.
Yeah, Jim Malone, yes.
James Gates, yes. Kevin,
Kevin Smith, yes.
Here's report, anything I have to report, we covered under the staff report, review approved meeting minutes from 8/28/24. I just had a chance to review them. Pat, you looked at them?
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
I didn't see anything that was out of the ordinary.
Kevin's looking at them right now, but you can get a motion to approve the,
Like
meeting
motion,
28.
I motion to approve the minute meetings of 8/28/24. James Dorian.
We need a second.
I second that.
Okay, Pat, you start.
All right, Pat Jim Malone, yes.
James Dorian, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Sorry, jumping the gun on you there, Pat. It'll never happen again. Maybe, well, maybe.
Staff report. Jessica, you there? There you are.
I am.
Good evening,
All
Justin.
right. Good evening, everybody. I'm above you. It's really weird. All right, so this covers just a brief time, August 29th to September 11th. A few building permit sign-offs for 181 Fitchburg Road and 3 Ryan Road. We had a driveway permit sign-off at 25 Shirley Road. No referrals for other boards, no Board of Health sign-offs. Completed approvals issued in the last couple weeks was the order of conditions for 50 Sauna Row Road, issued on August 30th. Order of conditions for 12 Canal Street, issued on August 30th. Order of conditions for 94 Fitchburg Road, issued on September 3rd. And then a -3 determination of applicability for 20 Coppersmith Way, issued on August 30th. We have a few applications in the queue, an NOI for 22 Sauna Row Road, which is still incomplete. So you guys will see that once we have all the application materials in. We have the RDA for 30 Shirley and then 46 Emery, which are both on your agenda for tonight. Some compliance updates. Jim, most of these are Jim. They're not actually me. So Jim did a pre-con inspection to 65 Adams Road and to 20 Coppersmith Way. Both looked good. They can proceed with their work. Order
And I got to the bridge to double check on the siltation and any other areas and to see what the water flow rate was. So it's almost down to a trickle. So we're in good shape with nice dry weather coming. So
Great.
hopefully we'll get to the footing soon.
Good. Thank you. We have a few outstanding compliance matters for 75 Pierce Road. That was, like
They actually
last,
just responded to an email.
yeah, maybe like last March or April. They were putting an in-law apartment on within a stream buffer. And so we stopped work and had them file. And then sort of as a mitigation measure, they had to plant, I think it was like 26 plants or something. So I just asked for them to do a check-in at how the vegetation is doing because they need a 75 or maybe an 80% success rate. So the applicant should be getting back to us hopefully within the next week or two with a checkup letter.
Just need to
yeah.
interrupt. How far back does 75 Pierce go? When was that?
A year and a half ago.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think it was in like March or April or May-ish.
March. It was March.
Okay.
Yeah, it was,
Well, because I know
remember.
Matt was taking care of it because I was on maternity leave. So that time, yeah, it would have been March or April.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Of course. Also down on Pierce Road, 187 on the other side of Warren, though, you have an active enforcement order there. They had a new construction home and associated utilities that required mitigation that they never did, and the permit expired. So you issued an enforcement order to replant trees and required that at least 75 of the 100 saplings survive. I got an update last week that only 59 of them have survived so far. So I just reminded them that they need to replant some more so that they exceed or mate at least 75 for a stone count.
well,
So they planted in like early December last year. So
It was a real late, and that's why I thought they would be in real good shape with the survival, but it is what it is.
I
So
think
they're gonna,
she said it was like a lot of the junipers didn't make it, and I'm pretty sure they bought those in bulk, like off Amazon maybe. So it could have also just been like a quality thing. Believe it or not.
you can't ignore the deeds.
So, and then one more is for 2 Capricorn Lane. Just during a drive-by there recently, we saw that construction had definitely started already, and they had never contacted us for pre-con inspection. So we sent out a fine to them, and the fine has since been paid, and the inspections were made by Jim, so they are up to compliance and work is proceeding.
Yeah, they did a good job on all the silt control. The DEP sign was all up and everything, and it was a merry old crew, and the building was well on the way to being done.
Yeah, lovely.
Right in the nick of time.
And then the last item on the list here is that today, or well, within the last week, we received the first half of the NRW, what is it? National River Watershed Association, their Wild and Scenic Grant. So far we have $10,000 awarded from them, and you guys recently just signed a request to add another $13,000. So we received sort of the upfront $5,000 credit today that we did deposit into an account. In the absence of a conservation agent, that grant will very likely be, most of the decisions will be made by the commission. Aaron, our grant admin, can help administratively, but most of the decisions will need to be made by you as the commissioners. So we will need to coordinate a boundary survey of 3 Conservation Commission owned properties. The 3 that were approved in this grant were, off Dudley Road, behind Peter J. Drive. It's about a 25-acre parcel there. And then there's two up off the top of West Meadow Road, behind Phil's development, and then behind like 98 to 100 West Meadow Road. There's a parcel back there too. So those were the three that were approved as part of this grant. So we will need to start coordinating.
Jessica, as I understand, those properties are landlocked quite well, are they not?
Just one of them, just the one behind Richard Waterhouse's properties. Like the one behind 98 to 100 West Meadow. However, the town does hold an access easement.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if the property owners now know the town holds an easement, but that's something.
There's too many conversations going on. Sorry, Jess. What was that?
You asked about being landlocked. Technically, yes, but the town does hold, I'm told, an access easement through like 98 or 100 West Meadow Road. That's the one there, like in the dip of the road where that new greenhouse is way up on the hill.
Right, it's a Tony's old property with the pond that's out in the back that abuts onto Lockbrook.
I think it's a couple parcels north going up West Meadow still.
Heading up? Okay.
Dicky Waterhouse, I believe Dicky Waterhouse's land was
Yes.
the land provided the easement, the access easement.
Okay.
That was across Dicky's property, am I correct, Jess?
Yeah, so he owns, or recently owned 98, 100, and 102. He sold
Right.
98, and now that's that new like greenhouse that's way up on that really, really steep hill. So the easement is either through 98 or through 100, but like you can tell there's kind of like a access road at the V anyway of those two properties.
Right in the dip, right in that draw.
But what I don't know is, we have an easement, but I don't know if those private property owners, since they're not Richard Waterhouse, know that the town holds an easement. So,
Well, it should be in the deed, Jessica.
yeah, I don't,
about West Meadow than I do.
so we can, somebody lives on there, don't they? Yeah. No, but that's something that we can just like send a letter to the owner, just being like, hey, you might not be aware, but we have access rights. So, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But anyway, that's just letting you guys know that we probably, given the fund amount, we may need to request like 3, just following procurement procedures. We may need to request 3 proposals. At least just request them. We might not receive 3, but as long as we request
To the work,
3.
it's $10,000.
Right. It's going to be 25,000 or 23,000 once the addition gets approved. So
If it gets
goods or
approved.
goods or
Was that-
services between $10,000 to $50,000, to my knowledge, you have to request 3 proposals for, unless there's some sort of exemption, based on the procurement laws. But that's a conversation for another day because I don't fully know.
5 or 10.
All right. So where's the $10,000? Where is that going to get us with surveying these properties? Is it going to get us to these 3?
I don't know. I was not involved in the proposal for the application for this grant. That was the previous conservation agent. So I'm on the outskirts of this one. I don't really know the details.
And we don't have anything saved in our OneDrive or printed?
They must have something in file.
Gotta be up there.
I have not really looked, but
Okay.
yeah.
Can I end it with one more quick question, Jessica? When we get this grant money, that doesn't initiate into the general fund. Does that go right directly?
No, it's to a conservation commission account.
So it is earmarked for conservation and they can't.
It's not just conservation, it's earmarked for this one grant,
Project.
for the project.
Yeah.
There's
Go.
nothing else you can go
Yeah.
towards.
All my questions have been answered. Watch how quiet I get now.
We can put it towards trash.
And we don't drop in the trash.
So anyway, that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. And you snuck up on me today. I don't make me feel uneasy when I see you when I pull out of my driveway.
My
don't know if
mom
you-
mobile. Well, now you know.
You would drive slow too. I don't.
Yeah.
She drives that little undercover car that nobody recognizes. That's what
Right.
it is.
She's smart.
Very
She's smart.
Listen, it's got a window screen on the driver's side. Noticed it today when she drove by, so that's the identifier. All right, 3.1, request for an RDA 46 Emery Road, TWB 2024-191, applicants Rod and Gun Club. Project is for driveway maintenance within the 100-foot buffer. Legal notices pursuant to the Mass WPA and Townsend Wetland bylaws, the Townsend Concom will hold a work session on Wednesday, September 11th, 2024 during the 7 o'clock meeting. The work session will be held virtually via Zoom meeting and in-person town hall. A request for determination of applicability filed with Conservation Commission by Townsend Rod and Gun Club. Property is located at 46 Emery Road, Assessors Map 25, Parcel 1. Project, the proposed project is for maintenance along the entrance road within the riverfront area. Parties wishing to speak in support of or in opposition to this application may do so at the meeting or in writing prior to the meeting. Copies of the application are available for review at Town Hall during business hours. Roger Lafosa is here, representing the Rod and Gun Club.
Yeah, myself and Dan Linfall and Chuck Strong's the chairman of the board of directors. I did the original application for it.
Okay, did you read DEP comments?
I didn't get a chance to yet.
Okay, I guess explain to us what you're gonna do and
Well,
proposing to do and.
we're trying to mitigate a silt problem and, accommodate the runoff and washout of our road. The road is obviously coming right down Emery into what's called Dan Colburn Way. It's creating washouts down the middle of the road, and there's the side hug to the right to go into the wetland area, so we need to do some road maintenance. Proposing to reinstall a section of the road that's already asphalted, but start pitching everything towards the left and put in a drainage swale and a sediment trap at the end of that drainage swale. Then see what happens from there. We're gonna try to take this one piece at a time without spending a whole bunch of money running all the way down the road and finding out it still doesn't work.
Well, how many 100-year rains have we had? Past
What are you
18 months?
proposing to do, Roger, when you get down slope? What you're saying is you're gonna super elevate everything to the high side,
Correct.
run it right down. What are you gonna do down? What are you proposing to do down at the, wherever you come onto flat ground or
We'll
those
run
stacks or
uphill.
run the other
Yeah.
way?
Put a
Put pipe
sediment
in?
trap at the end of the swale.
And just no pipe going across or anything?
Well, we're hoping with the sand, it'll dissipate into that area, because you can't bring it over to the other side.
How
We're
about
trying to keep it away from,
maybe some rip wrap maybe
Right.
down in
Yep.
there?
yeah,
Kind of.
Section of rip, have a tear catcher.
Yeah.
Siltation catcher and then some.
Yeah.
And then some rip wrap down below to suck it up quick.
gonna try to pull it out of there without it,
Then you can go in there with your little rig and maintain it that way.
clean it out as we need to, yeah.
At the risk of Jessica yelling at me, I know we're not supposed to design, but I did do a project up at the 4-H camp in Ashby where they had a lot of runoff coming down around a hill. And we did the teardrop, areas to, just catch the silt and the runoff, but also allow the water to dissipate back and or perk back into the ground. And that's all, so what, sandy?
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
long.
very sandy.
Yeah,
Beautiful gravel. It's.
Yeah.
couldn't ask for anything better in there as far as moving
You get to the
water.
top of the Emery though, it's all ledge.
Well, ain't ledge down there. I think the only biggest problem they might have is a little bit of, maybe a little bit of top and sub left in there from back when they created the road. That's creating a little bit of impervious material that holds that water, slows that water down. But it sounds like you guys have got the right idea, you know, take that stuff out of there. Get down and put some stone in there and that's,
Yeah.
you know, gonna take care of the problem.
Put some new gravel down, get some.
How long do you think you're gonna have throughout the length of the road?
How much, like that?
Are you planning on doing just one section or you?
Yeah, probably just down to the first corner right now.
That's about
1 feet.
Yeah, what do we figure, about 100 feet, maybe?
maybe a
Uh,
little more than that.
Yeah,
150 to 200.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little more than that. And like you said, Roger, we'll see where that takes us.
Yeah.
Next year, you're gonna may have to reattack it, saying, all right, well, we had a lot more water coming down here, it didn't suffice. Go to plan B.
Yeah.
Go
Because
to,
you're downslope there for
right.
quite some distance,
Yes.
maybe 700 feet.
Yes.
anyway. Would you say, Dan? That's
Oh,
down.
to the clubhouse
slope.
from the red?
No, no.
Oh,
from the-
it's,
the
it
first
gets really
section's
flat.
46.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's about 100, again, I think I guessed 152.
Yeah.
And then it starts to level out. And we may have some more room on the left-hand side going in. If we need to, we could even put a couple little infiltration things there. But that's not now. That's a fallback position, should it
I
not
see.
be able to take it up.
Plan B, Roger.
We,
to speak up, see how this first phase goes. And if
No, no,
not,
it needs
we'll
some attention.
reapproach.
Yeah,
What? Go ahead, Kevin.
It needs some attention and that's, sounds like you're right on cue. Is that's the right way to do it? If I was doing it.
Yeah, get the silt away.
Well, keep it away, keep it away from the brook, but
That's
you know,
the,
keeping it over there where you can maintain it.
the whole premise of why they're doing it, which is outstanding.
and years ago, we had little areas cut off to the sides.
Right.
Probably 20.
yeah.
They may be a little. No, they went in a couple
Yeah.
different directions. They were just little, basically turns, little diversions off on the side, and that took the water.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Yeah.
We didn't.
Dug whatever volunteers you could get that day to do it.
Right.
Yeah, it's been 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same guys probably still volunteering down there, or men and women.
Would be something.
So I know a young lad that's been helping a little bit.
Yeah, and he is now on the board of directors, sir.
He is.
Yes, he is.
Well, I'll have to congratulate him.
Well, but it's time to get some new blood and some young thoughts in there, so, the guy that works for,
I taught him well.
a guy that works for Kevin is, one of our more active archery members there, and he's real good with machines, so we use them when we can.
Is it that skinny little kid?
Oh, yeah,
Started with me, I threw him on a tractor when he was 14 years old.
Illegal.
Years old.
Not far.
I'm teasing him.
Labor is hard to get.
You're telling me, and he's good.
Yeah, love the kid like one little. Proud of him.
I,
Yeah, dude, you have any questions for us on anything?
no, but it's regular maintenance.
Yeah.
It's something that has to happen.
Yeah,
And
it's-
even, sediment traps that are runoffs that were 20 years old, they fill in with
Yeah, what you're.
organic debris.
What you're doing is, in my opinion, that's just grading maintenance. I mean, you're putting that little silt catcher in. I mean, that's,
But to a degree, they're moving more. So not.
yeah, but the water's been, the
It
water's
is
been.
maintenance, but to.
They're not moving.
No,
They're slowing it down and allowing it to
Yeah.
percolate that back into the ground.
But the water's been running there for ages and
Not
ages.
down
It's just
the
been
right.
running to the right. And what they're doing now is 199% improvement over what was
Absolutely.
going on, because you had all the silt running down in towards the brook. And I'm
Yeah.
sure over the years, some of it has probably made it to it.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Especially with those heavy rains, like last year, we had stuff.
Oh, my God.
I think
Yeah.
if certain areas in there, I would almost think you could maybe put a couple on the right where you can't kick the water to the left. You got a big stretch between I mean, it's out close in some spots, but other spots it's way out there. I mean, you got some of those areas that have been cut probably since my brother cut them 30 years ago. The kickers, I call them kickers, to kick the water down off to the right. You know, you could always put a couple in there too if you had to.
Yeah, I think once we get down below, we're further away from that brook.
Yeah, well, once you get down there, you're probably past the 200 feet
Yeah,
almost.
that opens it way up.
Yeah,
down
but
below.
you know, that you still gotta be able to maintain the driveway. It's not our intention to, try to crucify it for doing some road maintenance. That road's been there for
No,
75 years, right?
and there, yeah, there was,
And they've always done a good thing. They've always maintained it. I know my brother was alive. He did some work over there every few years.
I think the last time we were down there, it was when you put in for the logging. That was,
That would have been down the forestry program, yeah.
yeah, that was
You can't-
15 years.
We do regular logging. We
Okay,
do regular forest management. I'm about to turn in the next 10-year
nice.
forest management plan as soon as I get all the paperwork together.
As the senior member.
Well,
We got an award for that last year. The forestry program, you got an award for that.
Well, you'll do it at least one more time. You'll do it one more time, Dan.
well, we got a ways to go. It'll be a few years before we do any
So-
harvesting, but
Roger, I know you
Yes, sir.
didn't say, or you said you didn't have a chance to review Mass DEP comments. Dan, did you?
no, I did
I
not.
didn't get a chance to see him.
What do they say?
We just have to, yeah.
We did do
Few questions about site and offer the following points of analysis. It may be useful to get a better understanding of where all activities associated with the proposed road activities will occur, including road maintenance, i.e. will all work be located within the existing developed roadway, or will work be located within vegetated areas? Where is the sediment trap proposed and what are the specifications? Will proposed work result in an expansion of the developed area? 2, the location of the proposed invasive removal, the removal, should it be reviewed and a plan provided on how they propose to complete such work, i.e. mechanical and chemical?
Where's the invasives?
Right up front when you come in on the right.
There's some spotty little things that I want to get rid of. Okay, we don't want them getting off into the forest. Basically, we'd be maybe just a cut stump treatment.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of honeysuckle. We've done some stuff over the years.
I think you wrote that in
Keep
your
that stuff
email.
at bay.
Yeah.
I probably did.
Um,
Okay, I am not here in my official work capacity.
No,
I am here as a member of the club, just to be clear, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's.
We'll
be
accept.
careful where you send emails from then.
We'll accept
Well,
that.
okay, there's a couple different reasons why. Hey, just talking to, I didn't know Roger was gonna take it.
But Roger's been doing this long enough. You've obviously been doing this long enough, and I've only heard about you, but you know, I'm James. I'm Charlie Rosbeck's son-in-law. You know
Oh,
that.
okay, so,
So yeah, it's, you know, you covered a lot of stuff in this, and I just breezed through it, but
It's
and
mostly right up top.
I'm sure it's pretty thorough coming from Mr. Linthal.
well, but it's best management practices, really.
it's
Yeah.
best management and also when we bring this up to the membership, they go wild thinking we wanna suggesting putting in catch basins and pipe, and I wrote that just to calm the ideas down.
We proposed that we want to do something with the road, and all of a sudden there's 15 newly appointed civil engineers, and they're telling us exactly what we're supposed to be doing.
get
You know?
them in and bro, listen to
Lord.
everything they have to say and erase it from there.
It's just,
So that was
Graded, put a little more gravel down as a maintenance activity.
yeah.
And we've seen the sideline engineering. It's a beautiful thing.
oh,
Never discourage them, but just, you know.
And then when it doesn't work, well, I told them it wasn't going to work.
or they don't, or they just drift away from their proposal. It's, you know,
Right.
but we need to get something done there.
So
And like
we'll.
Kevin was saying, our invasives, it's no different than me. I always got a pair of clippers ready to, you know, at the farm. I want to see some knotweed. I see.
Put them on, put them on.
It's best
Cut them off.
And maybe throw a little grass on the right-hand side coming in. I'd
Right.
like to eventually mow the edge of the road.
make it look
And,
nice.
well, it's more to keep.
Have that. It keeps everything together.
It's a good filter.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's, that's the best thing you could probably do over there.
Right.
And I'm gonna still call that maintenance because of the fact that
Truly
you got
is.
plow damage, you got stuff that happens. You go over there and you clean it up, you put 10 shovelfuls of loam and you put a little grass seed on
And this is the river, the brook side?
it. Either side.
Right,
It's
so
all riverfront.
Either side, it's, you know. The whole driveway's in the riverfront for the first, 500 feet probably.
till about the Boy Scout camp.
Yep.
Exactly.
And
This-
then-
I'd say-
Then it opens up,
Yeah,
the brook takes a right, and then makes a swoop.
Okay.
So, third question, will there be impact to riverfront area bordering land subject to flooding and or bordering vegetated wetland? If present on site, resource areas, with the proposed activities, or any impacts to resource areas, whether temporary or permanent, should be quantified in a notice of intent.
We're not deviating from where our road is
I'm
now.
gonna say there's no.
We're not going anywhere with it. We're not widening the road. We're not making it, rerouting it. It's just rerouting the water. Yeah, we're trying to.
Maintenance.
So,
And
It's not even updated, it's just general maintenance, stuff gets filled in.
updating it, for the ability to remove water and then.
You know, if you got this, if you got that lot of that driveway that's running flat and of course now with the tire tracks are, it's doing this. That water's running in there. I mean, a simple annual, semi-annual grading with your grading box, which I guess you guys have. You know, once you get that thing in order, it'll be.
Once we get it
pretty
right,
quick
we can keep it
maintenance,
right.
Yeah.
We
And that's-
can't get it right.
So you guys have a grading in a tractor and everything
Yeah,
there?
for a couple of forward
Designated
with
heavy
grading box.
equipment operators and everything?
All
These
license,
guys are outstanding. I mean, all
It's a
women.
fact.
All licensed.
all license.
No, we understand you.
Number one guy.
You've been quiet, you attended the site
Just
visit,
listening to everything.
She cooks for our game dinner.
does she really?
Absolutely.
You didn't know this?
No, I think it's great.
Current with some of your members, yeah.
Full disclosure.
So, in terms of special conditions, are there any proposed or?
I don't know how we can
I don't-
condition for anything.
This is straightforward.
No, well, it's,
Easy does it.
if the road was put in 2 years ago and all the erosion control was removed and we had the rains like we did last year and earlier this year, it wouldn't have mattered.
But it's, you
So-
got something from
We still.
75 years ago and they've done a pretty, you know, and they've given it routine maintenance in the whole 75 years, not like it was ever left in disrepair for any length of time where someone would say, hey, you're not doing a good job. They've always worked on it. I mean, it's an annual thing, probably a semi-annual thing, most likely. They're up there probably in the spring and probably in the fall and, you know, they're grading it,
6 times.
yeah, 6 times a year. So.
So I didn't get a chance to attend the site walk because I was out of town working. I guess there were no low indentation areas that could focus water that should see any,
No.
that should get waddle or anything. Patty answered that.
I looked at it, but not during that, I looked at it, but not during the site.
I have photos if you guys, is there a screen in there? Like, can I screen share? I don't even know.
Yeah, there's the TV.
Something.
I have a few photos if you guys want me to screen share.
Yeah, sure. Carly, can Jessica have screen sharing, please?
Okay, I think I just did it.
Look at you, on top of it. Thank you.
The DEP does watch.
Split screen, yeah, I like
They do
that.
watch our meetings on occasion.
Sure, yeah, very understandable.
Because they like us a lot.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, there it
They
is.
sure do.
I'm sensing sarcasm. All right.
Pat.
No,
All right. Can you guys see that? Let me minimize everybody. Can you see the picture?
Yeah.
All right. So off to the right is Emery Road. The wattles that are in place right now are from the repaving from the water line. So down to the left is Dan Colburn Way. So
and Roger, didn't you mention that when the town did that area with the tarring, they really raised that hump up, which is really what started promoting
Started
it.
pushing the water into the brook. area. Yeah.
So I think I thought I had like a hump. I guess you can't really see it, but there's like a sort of like a weird asphalt berm that weirdly directs water here. You can see where all the asphalt is cracked, and then it just kind of splays down. So I'll just keep going. So that's, yeah, looking down the driveway.
Mhm.
Down the driveway, you could see a pretty big, like, whatever this is called, rill there.
Water trough.
There you go. Yeah, and the next picture has some cattle in it. No. And then this is looking back up toward Emery Road. You can just see sort of the general grade. I mean, I would say it's maybe like a 2 to 3 maybe % grade for the first 150 feet. Oh, is that it? Oh, that's lame. Sorry, that's it. But you were
And that's
mentioning special
close to the end
conditions.
of where
Just
the work is gonna be just about to the.
yeah, I
nose
think
of
this
the work.
sediment was right around the front corner. So I think you guys are actually proposing on terminating the scope right about
Okay.
here.
Yep.
Yeah, there's the pool.
So I mean, if I can chime in, I would just recommend, because pretty much right after this pile of gravel, it does drop down a couple feet. So I might just recommend just lining this whole thing with straw wattles. But that's my 2 cents.
Wattles, no silt.
I mean, I think it's such unconsolidated material from snow plowing that
Right.
silt fence would probably be more destructive.
Right, anti-productive, I think. That's why I just going with the wattles.
We may have some wattles left over from some of our jobs. We can-
Just drag the ones down from the water line.
That'll be great.
Would be willing to donate to the cause, I think.
If we do.
I know somebody else that might
There's
have.
no water
some,
going
too.
over there,
Yeah, no,
right?
yeah.
No,
But you know what,
that's
it-
right. And, but again, we have 2, 3, 4 inches of rain
Yeah.
for 2 hours. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
For safety's sake, I agree with her there on the vegetation. That area past where the vegetation stops, that the natural grade on that right-hand side going down is a little bit low. Even though you're gonna put a kicker to it, to kick it the other way.
Okay, so
It wouldn't hurt to put those in.
No,
waddle at end of,
end of the vegetated area from the
Okay.
end of the vegetated area down past, a little past the telephone pole where the work, I believe, is gonna
Yeah.
stop
Yeah.
at that pole.
And, yeah, not far down.
First
to the
pole.
left. At the end of the construction of the area. Right.
From the, on the right hand
I'm just
side
gonna
where the
put
vegetation.
place waddle at the end of the vegetation.
Vegetated area, past the
Going-
telephone pole on the right hand side, the telephone pole being the end of construction, go past that.
Basically.
So that there's no way, if they're in there working, that's pretty flat right there. If they're in there working and they did get a monumental rain while they were there working, it's not gonna flood, the water's not gonna remediate across the road.
No, and if
jump
it does,
off the
that
end
pretty
of the
much will
stuff.
feather off into a Boy Scout area, right?
Yeah.
It's far enough below that. Well, no,
Yeah,
we don't
but
want
that's
that Boy
phase
Scout
two.
getting wet either, but we
When it
just.
sits in there, it can percolate down through.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a good place and that's holding any silt if it ever got down in there from ever getting into anywhere near the brook.
Right, no, not, it
Because
just
that is a low line
widens way
area.
out right there.
Yeah,
And that's a real rocky, silty,
it's like 2 inch minus coarse sand and gravel.
and like you said, just on the upward gradient further down, that's a ledge.
No, there's no wedge there.
No, further up on Emery, it gets.
Oh, yeah,
just-
but you gotta go right to the very end.
Yep.
That's all sand and gravel through within what last 500 feet or 1,000 feet of Emery. Then it starts to get tilly,
Yeah,
it gets crappy at the end.
What's the length? About 50 feet.
oh, from where that gradient, yeah, I'd say
Of
put in
wattles,
75.
it would probably be, put 75 in there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna write 75 to 100 feet.
That covers it.
I'm going to
That
town
more than
meeting.
covers it.
Maybe I'll steal a couple noodles from Dan,
Well, there might be some right on purpose with some extra.
cause he didn't use all those.
Didn't need them.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I had him use one, but I had him do an L.
Well, he did some more.
Okay. So
We were just prompted by the chair.
what? So I make a motion that we, find this to be a negative 3 determination, with a special condition of install wattle at the end of edge and, dash end of vegetation, on the bottom of hill along existing driveway approximately 75 to 100 feet.
I need to interject. It should be -2 if you're going to do that because it's riverfront area, not 3.
Because we're within the 100 or the 200?
Because riverfront area is considered an actual resource
No, that's fine.
area.
Thank you. No, you're right. You're completely right.
Thank you, Jessica.
Is this like when we were doing the invasives removal down on Lockbrook? We goofed with the 3 and had to get
So-
kicked to a 2?
Jessica, where do we put the
Yeah.
special condition then? Because there's nothing, there's no lines for that under.
I
this-
know. I hate that form. I can make a standalone like attachment for it. Or you could just like
Okay.
write an arrow. I don't know. I'll make some notes so it's obvious. Don't worry.
We'll do an arrow.
Arrow, I would just do an arrow, yeah. She can
Thank you for
negative.
interjecting. So
Reread that, Jimmy.
I make a motion, so I retract my previous statement or previous motion and I make a motion to find this a -2 determination. The work described in the request is within an area subject to jurisdiction under the act, but will not remove, fill, dredge, or alter that area. Therefore, the said work will not require the filing of a NOI. The special condition will be install wattle at the end dash edge of vegetation, bottom of hill along existing driveway, approximately 75 to 100 feet. Jessica, does that sound good?
Yes. Thank
All right,
you.
I'll second that.
Kevin, second. Roll call vote, starting with Pat.
Yes, Pat Jamal, yes.
James, yes. James Dorian, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes. Thank you, gentlemen.
Right.
We're dismissed.
Nice to see
Well,
you.
we haven't
folks.
done that. He was thanking you.
Go upstairs and talk about your trash now.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
I bet you it's pretty good. Go grab some popcorn and something to drink and go up there, because I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Doesn't have to be loud. It's the glaring
Well,
and the
it's 4:08,
scary,
so
you know?
any second now. I did see a police officer walk by,
I
20
know,
minutes
I
ago,
was
so-
gonna say that's good.
We're right here.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much
Thank
for
you.
for that.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Jessica, thank you.
Just wanted to say,
Have a great night.
it was good to see you.
Bye, guys. I'll probably mail your document out, or Roger, unless you want to come pick it up
Nice to see you.
tomorrow,
So
but
much.
otherwise we have
Nice
to
to see you
certify
again.
mail
We'll
it.
see you soon.
Hi, Roger.
Right, thanks.
Nice
Nice to meet you.
to Shane.
Hey, Roger, that guy did a good job.
Oh, yeah. We're not done with that.
On spire.
We're gonna fix that up once the road.
No, we're proud of you.
Yeah, we got straight.
Hi to Charlie for
We're
it.
going up.
I haven't seen him lately.
I saw him walking down the road last week because he had to go get it. I stopped him. I said,
I gotta use this.
listen, I'm neighborhood watch. I like to know what you do right. What are you
Pop in
doing?
to see him, he'd be excited.
He'd like that.
Once the Bears reading his corn this year.
No problem.
And we exceeded.
Kevin just left to,
5,000 pounds this year.
use the restroom.
We almost.
Oh, great. Have fun.
It's going
Hey,
to
I'll see you.
five different markets in Boston. I just did a 500-pound order that went to Putney, Vermont. Dick's Market did, 1,600 pounds. And that's after he planted almost as much as me. He's my best.
You go to the garden festival.
Jessica, we're just waiting for Kevin to come back.
I'm sitting on 4, maybe 500 pounds of seed garlic. So I'm gonna go up there and try to peddle it, make a few new customers. But from 10 pounds 30 years ago to where it is now.
A little spot.
You had a couple rows just a couple years ago.
Right, now it's the Jamaicans come in, they're planting and harvest for me, I do everything else in between. Steve helps me out with
Besides the whole wheat.
I'll do the straw, pre-emergent, everything else over there, and it's worked out great. I, West Townsend.
Sorry.
You know, just want everybody to know.
Excuse me, are you guys still in session?
Yes, we are. We're just.
Sorry. I will leave.
Thank you.
Hey,
Ian.
thank you.
What?
I think I both, further up from them trying to remember.
All right, so let's keep going. Cause I'm hungry and tired.
Pat, do you eat any peanuts or anything for Jimmy? Like a,
I'm good.
like
I'm
an
good. I
old,
don't want to get yelled at for chewing on the
like an old cookie?
3.2 ZBA referral request, 3 Ryan Road accessory apartment.
Kevin?
Okay, let's leave a stack. I'll help.
Yes, yes.
Referral notice, please review this attached application and relay to the zoning board of appeals any questions, concerns you may have. This referral is under Townsend zoning bylaw 45-65. Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 11. Of 3 Bryan Road, applicants Timothy Hebert and Lisa Hebert, assessors map 9, block 10, lot 12. The hearing is September 18th, 2024 and August 28th, 2024. In accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 40A and the Townsend zoning bylaw, the Townsend Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a remote access virtual public hearing on Wednesday, September 18th, 2024 at 6:35 PM on the application of Timothy Herbert and Lisa Hebert.
Hebert, right? Hebert?
Yeah, it was misspellings. So Hebert, for a special permit under zoning bylaw 145-36 and 145-65. The applicant is proposing to construct an accessory apartment connected to a single family residence under approval for accessory apartment use at 3 Ryan Road, map 9, block 10, lot 12, located in the RB3 zoning district. Public remote access, public only access to the meeting with a Zoom link. And my sticky notes says there are no wetlands nearby, so we
Takes us
can
out of it.
issue a no comment.
I love those sticky notes.
No, we have a
Actually,
motion.
I'm not sure if there is any there. There's the little crossing, but I think it's, as we did that site, I believe it's well away from it.
Fine.
Yeah, so motion to issue no comment on
Yeah.
this.
I issue that we have no comment.
Motion.
You motion, yeah, okay.
Motion that we,
Who's second?
James Bryan second.
Roll call vote starting with Pat.
Pat Gemolo, yes.
James Bryan, yes.
James Keith, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Okay.
Just now?
Yeah. Just like 30 seconds.
Yeah, like 20 minutes ago.
I'm doing minutes as we go. Can you tell me who seconded Pat's motion for that, please?
Jimmy did.
Thank you.
Should I use a deeper voice or something, Jessica?
No, I just couldn't type fast enough, so I wasn't paying attention.
Okay.
But thanks for clarifying.
For the Rotting Gun Club.
You,
No, council, they have town. Legal documentation.
All right, moving on. 3.3, RDA 30 Shirley Road, TWB 2024. -186 applicant Erica Williams and Jason Hire. Project is for removal of trees and installation of fence within 100-foot wetland buffer. Matt is joining us. Matt Marrow. Jessica, the paperwork for Rotting Gun Club will be in its folder.
Thank you.
Fine. Paperclip.
I just shoved it over there. Just for that reason. All nights for you not to bring in a munchie for us and East style.
They're picking on me.
Anybody was gonna keep it in the neighborhood.
Matt Marrow, is here, joining us on Zoom, representing the property owner. Matt, you there?
Yeah. I
Yeah, I'm here, guys. First of all, I just wanted to say, pardon the glasses, the way they look in the angle. I'm at that stage of life where I have to look through the glasses to see my notes, and I can't see the computer
I can relate to that.
on, so kind of angling it so I can do both at the same time.
Matt, don't worry, we're all blind on Conservation Commission too.
Okay, so where we last left off was we had a site walk last Thursday, if I recall correctly, where we looked over the trees. There were trees with red X's and a couple with yellow X's. I went back early this week, took another look at all the trees, did another count, and essentially what I found was there is a total of 29 white pines proposed to be removed, a total of 2 red maples proposed to be removed, and 4 oaks proposed to be removed. 2 of the oaks marked are within the 35-foot no-touch zone. 5 of the pines are within the 35-foot zone. So there's a total of 7 trees within the 35-foot zone that are proposed to be removed. The condition of those, as I outline in my report, I noted 6 of them are completely dead, and I believe the term I used when I was out on site is that they could pretty much almost qualify as snags. The remainder of the pine trees they're either split from age. White pines have a tendency to self-prune from the bottom up, and then as they get really older, especially with the way those are grown in very densely, they have a tendency to split. Part of that's from bug infestation. There were a couple that you could see were struck by lightning a long time ago, and they scarred over, but that makes the structure weak. There were other trees that you could tell were bug infested. These are the pines I'm referring to now, because you could see sap from the top down. Usually when you see white sap from the top down, it's because they are, you have woodpeckers that are going at them to get at the insects. The oak trees look like they could come down basically because they're close to the pine trees, and the pine trees that are slated to be removed will probably cause some collateral damage to the oak. One of the oaks was a double stem oak, and it looked pretty stressed out. Pretty much like it's more than peaked, and probably will wind up coming down in a really good windstorm at some point in the near future. The red maples are actually looking pretty good, but they are in very close proximity to the house, and they're really, really tall. And as I cited in my narrative, a lot of insurance companies tend to put pressure, even though that's not happening now, but it doesn't mean it won't happen, because a lot of insurance companies are stressing that you get tall trees that could fall on your house removed, or at least branches pruned. They're getting very loath to cover because there's a lot of storm damage due to climate concerns. That's basically it. We've looked at the wetland delineation. The majority of the commission has been out and looked at the trees. I've provided you with a count. The total is 35 total. So one more thing though, when I looked at the canopy cover, one of the things I always look for and I discussed on site was how it would affect the canopy cover going to the wetlands. Even with the amount of trees you have, a lot of them are scattered like selective cuts. So it wouldn't really like remove the canopy per se over the wetland. So the amount of tree cover on that lot around that wetland totals about 1.5 acres. And with the amount of volume of trees that I measured that you're taking out, comes out to about 1/10 of an acre. So you're talking just a little bit under 1% on the canopy. Guidelines on tree removal, for example, the state has an exemption built into its regulations that allows you to take a cord of wood per year, for personal use, like, fireplace, etc. The only condition on that is you can't remove more than 10% of the canopy. So this is much less than that standard. And that's basically it.
Well, Matt, you're saying to a degree the justification for some of this tree removal is cordwood related?
Well,
No, what I'm saying is there's a cordwood standard where you are allowed.
I understand.
So Ms. Williams can comment to that if they're going to use it for firewood.
Okay.
No, we're doing this strictly to get rid of trees that are sick and pose a damage or a threat to the house. And they, were in the way of things and they're just bug infested and need to go. We're going by your recommendations, the recommendations of the arborists we've had out. This is what we're told needs to be done, and we're just trying to be good homeowners and do it.
You do have a wood stove and you are gonna burn this wood, am I correct? Am I correct, ma'am?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
The property owners do have a wood stove and they are gonna burn this wood as a heat source.
Yeah,
So
you
that
can do.
That falls into, so that being said, it falls into the harvesting of the firewood.
It would fall into the exemption criteria, yes.
Thank
All right,
you.
no, I need to clarify. Kevin, I think you said you just were asking for clarification that the homeowners would use this wood for their personal firewood. And to my knowledge, the answer is no. They would use it to chip and mulch and spread in their backyard, not use
Right.
for firewood.
Too easy. So Matt, maybe pose that question a second time.
Erica, do you plan to use this wood for firewood?
We do have a wood burning fireplace inside the house. I'm sure we'd use some of it for that.
Thank you, Erica.
You do have personal use.
Thank you.
Of course,
Matt, with the overview of the trees, did an arborist come in to give you this overview, or are you
No,
going
the
by?
homeowner said they did.
Oh, we did have an arborist come in and give an overview. Do you have his report and whatnot?
That was the homeowner that said that.
No, the homeowner did that. The review I gave you was my own review. I've done this
Okay.
before.
Yes.
I agree with you, Matt, on the 4-inch sap, the trees would be unhealthy. And I do agree with you to the extent those are probably mature pines growing in damp area. They're probably all red rot in the middle. If you caught a few, they'd probably be red rot, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So saying that, the trees are unhealthy.
Correct.
And especially if you got a couple of them that have been struck by lightning. In the past, it doesn't matter whether it was last year or 20 years ago, it tears the cambium away and blows the fiber out in the tree, making it unhealthy and not very structurally sound. So in my opinion, I'd say someone should come down. Thank you, Matt.
Pat, do you have anything you want to add? I know you were able to get out to the site visit last week and.
Well, I don't know a lot about, when I look up at some of the trees that had really nice leaves and stuff, maybe they are fine and they don't need to come down. I don't know if they're bug infested or anything else. The leaves themselves look really good, so, but it's high up. And there's probably like 3 of those trees that I saw that had the X's on them that they were going to take down. So,
If I may address that,
Yep.
if I may address that,
Go ahead, Matt.
I mean, that is a fair point. One thing I can tell you is I remember when I was the conservation director over in Kingsborough, Massachusetts. There is a country club along the Merrimack River called the Vesper Country Club. They came in for actually a determination to cut down rows of pine trees that had a minimum of 36-inch diameter trunks. I mean, these were big, old pine trees, and they looked great. To look at them on the surface, you'd never think there was a thing wrong with them. Pine needles looked beautiful. It wasn't self-pruning. None of that was happening. Just like if it was a deciduous tree growing leaves. The commission allowed a negative determination with some replanting and some naturalization in that area because it was a fairway. When they cut all of the pines down, every single one of them were hollow.
All in the middle.
Every single one was hollow.
All the pines at my house were.
And it's
They're
prevalent
big.
in that, it's prevalent in that kind of soil that's down there. And obviously the dampness in the soil. That's a big problem. I mean, it's been a good many years logging. And those kind of trees that mature like that, you start cutting into them and sometimes they'll blow apart. They're just all red inside. Sometimes you even got water in them. And those trees are mature. I would say that the best possible thing to do with them is remove them.
Okay, so we've talked about the trees. What about Matt? I know the scope has changed
Immensely.
from the beginning to now. Can you speak to us about what other parts of the project will be within the 100-foot buffer?
The fence and the moving of the shed.
Sorry, Kevin coughed. What about the shed?
In order to put the fence in where they want to put it, encapsulating it around the developed yard area, they're going to have to there's some landscape like pond that they want to put in order to get all of that out of the buffer zone and have it still work with the deck, which is also out of the buffer zone. They have to take a shed and move back. The shed would move back into the buffer zone. It would still be in front of the fence, which would be around the buffer zone, encapsulating essentially the developed portion of the yard. So it would actually isolate them in their land use. So it would actually make a good demarcation barrier from the naturalized wetland area.
That's what I said.
Demarcation of wetland, so that
The
they don't.
35 foot with that shed there, kind of acts as a barrier.
And if you leave a little 6-inch space underneath,
Go ahead, Matt.
if you leave a little 6-inch space underneath the fence on the bottom, it actually comes close to qualifying for the state exemption criteria in a fence. State usually exempts fences as long as you leave a little space underneath for little critters to move through. So, but your bylaw is silent to that, so the exemption wouldn't apply under your bylaw, hence the need to file.
Yeah. Now what about the need to bring in fill to level the area to make that fence work for them?
Fill over there would be extremely minimal. Yard slopes, but it's extremely gentle where they want to put the fence. So if there is any fill, it would be minimal. And again, the fence would be a demarcation to the rest of the well. So essentially what they're doing is they're closing off the developed portion, fencing it in. They're using that part as the yard and leaving the remainder of the area naturalized.
Open to discussion.
Everything is outside the 35 feet.
No.
No, there's
a little something.
7 trees are being cut
Yeah,
within
7
35.
Well, if the trees are unhealthy, I don't have a problem with that. The tree should be removed because it may end up on the house. But is any of the construction work, the fill, any of those fills gonna be within 35 feet or within the 50 feet?
It won't be within 35 feet, no.
Right,
Thank you, Matt.
right. I mean, that's gonna be important. We don't have Phil put in the 35 foot no disturb. I'm
No,
always
and that's the
struggling
point
to
of
a
the-
degree with 7 trees being removed within the 35 feet, only do their criteria saying, well, they're dead, they're dead, they're dead. Well, I'm not an arborist, but I did not see everything in there qualifying for a clear cut because they're all dead. Okay, does that mean all that forested area, they all must be dead too? I mean, I'm not kicking them on this, but from the beginning as to where we are now has changed drastically. And I understand how Matt's presenting it to us. I get it. It's good. But I'm still, once again, I'm gonna voice my concern. That's a large amount of area being cut. Literally, that's clear cutting.
Those are your
When
words.
all those trees are cut in there, that whole area is being clear cut.
How about the,
Again, Matt said, removal of 35 trees will result in a reduction in tree canopy of only 66 or 0.66%.
Less than 2%, he's saying is.
Less than what?
How about some of those pines, certainly, they're probably well on their way to being unstable. How about because go hole down at the butt, go on.
To find out whether.
All those pines are, dead,
Yeah,
based on where they are.
Well, if they're
and-
dead, then they're unhealthy, right? They're unhealthy, they're a hazard, correct?
Oh, yeah,
Excuse me, commission.
yes.
If I could just interject, I was sending a message to my client. So again, I just wanted to reiterate that other than those 7 trees, nothing else within the 35 foot would be touched. My client has agreed that those minimal trees to be cut in the no touch zone, there would be no stumping. So the stumps would remain.
That was, we were under the same, we weren't gonna allow any stump removal in that area.
In the
Anyway,
35 foot
not
anyway.
in the 35.
Right,
But-
but we're stating it to make sure that that is clear for the record.
Thank you. Mr. DeRoyan has this concern about a few of those big, the real big pine, Matt. Would you be opposed to just going just up off the face of the ground and running
Is
the
it-
core into them and see, and you're probably gonna be red. If they're red, they're rotten.
So what do you guys think of that? Jimmy, is it
Which tree is,
pines that you're concerned with? Taking them out of that?
No, I think my biggest
35.
concern is to where it started from at 5 trees
Excuse me, Matt.
to 35 trees. It's changed. The scope of the work has changed. And when that happens, where does the RDA go? Should it go to an NOI? I'm concerned as to what the end result is gonna be.
Okay, so I'm just-
Gonna
The
think.
trees weren't healthy.
again, if I could offer a suggestion, and I don't mean to interrupt your discussion, I'm just trying to help be productive and address the concern. So if whatever the commission decides, we could put in a condition. We've already established by site inspection, by my inventory, the number of trees, the types of trees, and the number of the types of trees between the maple, the sea oaks, and the pines. They're
Mhm.
clearly marked with X's, both red and yellowish orange. So we essentially would go into, in other words, if an approval is granted prior to the work, prior to any tree being touched, both the staff or a commissioner or the staff and commissioner, so Jessica or myself, or Jessica and any one of you guys or all of you guys, we could go take a look at the trees, do another count, make sure everything is the same, and there's been no changes. It's like a pre-construction type of inspection.
Mhm. I understand that.
So, one of the things that is in our notes, this place, or this adds to Jim's concern, with the increase in intensity, of scope, the project goals would likely impact the WP for the mandated wetlands interest of groundwater supply and protection, water quality, flood storage, wildlife habitat, which this is in the National Heritage jurisdiction, which we have been discussed in depth either. And the scope has changed. It's increased from day one, which was first submitted July 22nd. And it has become confusing to us, and we are at a better understanding now, but in the past we have had situations like this you know, come back to haunt us.
Yeah,
Again,
other than the trees.
Say that again, Matt.
I'm sorry. Other than the trees, the remainder of the scope that's been changed around actually has moved stuff out of the buffer zone. So I know they've added to the scope of the trees, but the other landscape items that they wanted to do, which is what they were intending to do after they had removed the trees in that fenced in area, they've now made adjustments to get those items out of the buffer zone. Again, moving like the landscape pond and all that where the current shed is, that brings it 125 feet away from the edge of wet. So, their intention on that material or that scope of work was to move that out of the buffer zone.
Okay.
So a lot of what was on that form for scope of work actually isn't even in jurisdictional areas.
Correct.
So what is jurisdictional is the trees and the fence, some of the grading for the fence. That's what, and the moving of the shed.
Pat, you're sitting over there quietly.
I'm just
How about they
listening.
just,
Hold on. You're just listening, do you have any questions?
No, I mean, I know she's made it as far as moving the fence and stuff, which is great. I still have a concern about the trees, though.
the trees. Simple.
Because you and I both know those trees are dead in the middle. That's how I feel. And I'm only one vote, you're only one vote. We can make a motion. We could, Matt's done a good job explaining it, especially in terms of the tree inventory.
Presentation's good.
Well, it would prove that the trees are heading for being unsafe. If they're not unsafe now.
I don't think the safety, if the tree's not safe, we're not gonna stop someone from.
Yeah, I have to agree with Jimmy. And I gotta, quickly chime in. I understand the whole factor about trees that are necessary to be removed for insurance companies. Been there, done that, just had to do 2 huge trees around my house. So I get that. I get the safety aspect of it. My biggest concerns are how it's escalated from X amount of trees to this amount of trees. It's in priority habitat, it's in the 100-foot buffer and in the 35-foot no disturb.
Matt,
It triggers specific mechanisms for some of this verbiage on the RDA to change.
But the trees they also burn the wood, so there's that cordwood exemption.
Absolutely.
Matt, out of the 35 trees, we know that 6, 7 are within the 35-foot buffer.
7.
Okay, so that leaves 28
trees.
trees.
6 are on 35. No, you're right. So.
And we're only looking at what?
Hold on.
3 hardwood?
Hold on. There's 28 trees. How many out of the 28 trees are within the 100-foot?
This 31 was total 34 trees.
7 miles from the 30.
Matt, did you hear me?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that you didn't. We're in a different room, so it's there are 7 trees in the 35-foot vegetated buffer.
That's correct.
So that leaves you with 28 trees
In the
remaining.
100.
Is that 28 trees, are the 28 trees within the 100-foot?
Yes. The tree count I gave you was within the 100-foot buffer zone.
Okay, so it's everything within jurisdiction. Okay, I'm running through the facts just to make sure.
All the trees in removal are in jurisdiction. Every one of them. All 35.
Out of those 35 trees, I know you gave us some diameters. How many of those 35 trees are less than 3 or 4 inch caliber?
None of them. They're all big caliber trees.
None.
It's because, I mean, the whole reason they have a problem with them, you know, dying and damaged is because they're older and they're taller.
Okay. On the sidewalk, or any trees, or I guess are there any trees that are gonna remain, or are they, you just feel that during the process, the damage, there could be damage, and it's just you take them all out now, or take the ones that were marked?
Yeah, and that's why I was talking about the oaks.
Yep.
You know, the oaks looked pretty decent, but you know, one of them looked like they were starting to go into decline. But it looks like they will be collaterally damaged by the removal of the pines.
Okay.
I get it.
So the big trees that are within the 35-foot, those are mature pines.
Most of them are. And it's
They were
well
8 to
forested
10.
on the other side.
They were 8 to 10. The majority of them were 35-foot were like in between the 8 to 10 to 12. They were not boar pines. They were not real big.
Okay.
Am I right on that, Matt? The ones that were in the 35-foot no disturb were not of a large caliber tree. They weren't a big bore tree.
No, none of those were. The ones
Right, we're
closer to the
looking
yard
at
were
8 to 10s to 12 at the max on those.
at the max. Correct.
I think that's. Is there any more discussion? I think that's done
Extremely good job of.
Mhm.
explaining it. I feel I know how I feel now, after hearing it. If we're indifferent, we're indifferent. Or
You're the
agree
chair,
on-
you have the floor, you need
But-
to
So
express.
someone can make a motion, or I can make a motion, we can discuss it.
I've voiced my concerns with it. I'm okay. I get and I understand the firewood aspect of it. I understand and accept the insurance liabilities and danger of trees. And as we look at them, if they're dead and they're on the way out the door, no different than you would say, let's go, let's remove them.
Jessica, before I do anything, do you have anything to add?
No, I think Matt's assessment has been very helpful. Just something that has not been brought up tonight was that they're going to be chipped and spread all in the backyard, I think, still for the most part. And then how the priority habitat should be addressed. And then just how the interests, because you're changing your ground cover, if that would impact any of those Wetlands Protection Act interests, just to make sure that you guys are considering that after trees are removed.
Revegetated.
Your concerns are the reduction of any of the riparian area?
Well, no, revegetation, Kevin just said it.
What are your plans, Matt, for revegetating any of that area? You gonna put some deciduous trees in, or?
I have no discussion
Things
of
like
any of
that.
that
There's
yet.
been no discussion about revegetation. So to give you an idea, some of those trees For example,
Yeah.
in my narrative, if I gotta get my glasses back on here, guys, I apologize. So if you just want to give me a second. So in my narrative, one of the things I noted on my inspection, there are trees that are going to be removed on the northwesterly side and the northeasterly side. The northeasterly side is more in the rear yard where the shed is going, where some of the trees that are, there are some red X's out there, but they're not like all bunched together. They're all kind of spread out with the trees that are affected. The trees on the northwesterly side are actually closer to the driveway and closer to the area that's already getting hit by sun. And the way the sun would swing in that area, it basically rises in the back of the house, goes around the front of the house, and then comes back in the backwoods again. So as far as canopy cover, during a good majority of the day, either the trees or the house is acting as a shade blocking factor. So as far as shade value to the wetland, it's still being maintained by both the structure and the trees. The other thing I pointed out is the areas where the selective cutting was going. So the areas where the selective cutting is going in, it's a common practice, the way he's got those spaced out, the landowner, you're not taking everything out in a bunch. You're selectively cutting in different areas and leaving spaces. So what's going to wind up happening is you're going to have a space for natural regeneration to happen. Kind of like when you do a forest cutting in a piece of open space. You do selective cuts. You have areas where you take the trees, you leave healthier wood behind, and it promotes a good regeneration. I'm sorry about the hand waving. It's the Italian in me.
There you go. No worries.
The army is going out.
Let's send them on them everywhere. I don't think we're gonna kick it to an NOI.
Not after he presented to us. The things that we need.
But I think I'll go back to what Smith had stated, and I don't know if it would be coming under the replication, but can we ask for some planting?
I think I'll cut in real quick. The owner and I did have a phone conversation a couple weeks ago that she would be interested in planting some shrubs or small trees or whatever. So I think they may still be amenable to that. So that might be something you guys would like to have a discussion about tonight.
I would like a discussion.
I didn't want to cut in when you guys were talking, but yes, we are going to add.
He recommended not to. Go ahead.
I would say we are going to put some new, some new blueberry bushes. We'll probably do it next spring because I'm not a specialist, but I don't think you should plant right before the winter. But we are going to put some stuff in place that is healthy and young and, isn't in the current state that it is. So it has a chance to, grow the right way. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
And I'll work with helping them site the shrubs. A good shrub layer actually would be a good vegetative buffer filtering any flow coming off that site. Probably be a little bit better than what's there now.
Something that would encourage to grow in those conditions.
It would be better to plant this fall versus the spring.
If they can't get it cut.
Right. So either way,
we can put it.
So we can request. Jessica, how do we go about doing this without designing it? Do we ask for a certain amount of?
Well, why don't you ask for the same amount they're taking down? You got 30 shrubs within that area. Combined shrubs, blueberry bushes, hedges, maybe some.
Hold on, we could play this game that we played last year. Who do you buy these from?
Well, we don't need to play it again. We're just.
No. I'm saying this because you don't want to put landscape grade stuff in.
Yeah.
It's gonna.
Yeah, but they might for what they're doing. So
you're gonna have a fence.
We don't want to set the size for them, but if we take the number of trees that they're cutting and say, put this many trees and shrubs back on the site, they could probably do a beautiful, it would, if they lay it out
It would be an
properly,
enhancing.
maybe Matt's help.
I think it would be
Maybe
an
Matt's help in the landscaping part of it, they can come up with a beautiful little planting, yeah, even if they're little globe arborvitaes that are this big.
Well,
at
like,
least you're
no,
coming up
no,
with a-
not naturalized
Yeah,
plants.
yeah, whatever, naturalized stuff.
You know what, in
You
my,
can't do that because then you're going backwards, you're creating landscape space, so you wanna have naturalized planting.
something that is gonna be conducive to what has been.
But is it gonna grow 20 feet or 30 feet tall? 40
That
feet
can
tall?
guide them
So-
from the sounds of it. Adequate tree that could be in there, but I think if we say 35 trees, I think that's a little overwhelming.
Well,
If we shoot for
Not
something,
trees. Shrub.
shrubs, not
Shrubs.
trees, shrubs.
I would like to see.
And if they wanna put a couple of maples back in to replace the two maples that they've removed, get some 2.5 inch caliber maples.
So the thing with that though is you're disturbing more, a bigger area. I'd like to see saplings,
Well,
something
there
small,
you
so
go.
then it's less,
Well,
because you're not gonna be able to dig through those roots,
There
right?
you go.
A 2 inch,
Put some
a
small-
2 inch to 3 inch is gonna give you a 14 inch ball.
No, that's a 2
No,
foot.
no, that's a 2 foot, Jimmy.
It's a 2
Is it-
foot ball that's
I
about
mean, just
20 inches.
Like I say, if they wanna put
So 6
saplings in,
inches off.
to
Okay,
replace the number that they took out.
but that's
Fine,
minimal
little
disturbance to a degree.
So if you do a 1 inch, Matt, I know you have used vendors for wetland plants. Again, this isn't an area you're gonna wanna use landscape grade, so
No.
I think replacing the same amount of vegetation that you take out, so the number is 35. Whatever, so you said maple, you know,
You got 2 maples, you got
You
4
want-
oaks and just replace it with
Half is
natural
realistic.
shrub material, plant material.
Half is realistic because.
Yeah, I mean, what I can do is I just recently did plantings on a 24,000 square foot replication that I'm working on. And the vendors that were used for that are really good. They're good at getting good supplies. They're good at getting the good natural berry bushes. They're, you know,
yeah, winterberry.
the dealings I've had with them, so we can do the natural berry bushes, maybe a couple saplings. I'll work with the landowner to come up with something that, you know, will meet their needs as far as keeping it away from the fence, but also making it so that it blends in with a vegetative buffer into the wetland area. So that, I mean, in the end, when these things start to mature after, 4 or 5 years, it actually winds up promoting habitat value. And you get
So
a
if
good
they
vegetative
low-
cleansing.
Low bush blueberry, you've got all these different other things.
Which is going to allow.
Yeah, some low bush blueberry stuff
So-
like
so-
that, Matt.
So, I like the. Hi, Chris.
Thank you for coming in today.
Well, we're
appreciate
accepting, volunteer forms.
Yes,
You fit right in.
No, I've done my time.
don't walk away.
All right, well,
10 years was enough. Thank you, fellas.
Matt, we're sorry we interrupted. So I
No
think,
problem.
I think 35 would be the right number because you mixed in some low bush stuff.
It's the number that is removed, put it back.
You guys,
With-
I like what you're saying.
With what, 5 trees, 30 shrubs?
I think that would be best to be deciphered with Matt and the homeowner. If we get the 35
Nope.
replacement in.
Yep.
Let them figure that out.
Let them
I
decide.
think
whether
Matt
they're
will
good
be able
with
to
the landscape
eloquently
plan.
demonstrate to us what they're putting in, where they're putting it in, and what trees they're gonna do. If we can go that route, I'm all warm and fuzzy.
All right. Okay. Jim, let Matt know.
Hold on, Pat, did you have anything to add to that?
No,
I mean, the best of it is that.
Whatever's
goes
coming
away,
out's going back in.
yeah.
And are you more
bringing something
comfortable
back
now,
in.
this meeting after Matt explained it and you saw the site, than you were last time? Because you and Jimmy were concerned last time, and I want to make sure that both of
Well, I
you.
don't know if that ever be really resolved, but, as long as they're gonna, replace things and put stuff in, go for it.
And I think where you are, nobody likes to see a healthy tree get cut down just because they don't want the tree there. I think, am I speaking?
Yeah, and it
I-
wasn't a pine, and the trees really were only like this big around. They weren't really big trees. And, but up top, there's a lot of nice leaves, none of them dead, nothing, it didn't look at, I just, I looked at it for several different times when I was in there, but I really,
I have to agree with that. Nobody, especially us as conservationists, do not like to see a healthy tree being taken down. But if it's unhealthy, yes. If it's in lieu of a safety matter, we have no comment to that. That's just a given to say, do what you need to do to keep everyone safe. But I feel good about this at this point in time that we're not looking at a replication. We're looking to.
We are looking, they are gonna provide a replication.
Right, to a degree, but I don't know if we really label it as that, but we are seeing trees coming back in for the trees that were taken
I
out.
think we'll need to see that in the spring if they do it before,
Absolutely.
before
That
winter.
will be written in.
Yeah, so why
Has to
not?
be. Has to be, as far as us to be able to go in to see, Matt will put a planting schedule out that will be submitted, and then from there, we will do monitoring, no different than when we look at, no different than a replication,
But
to see what the percentage of survival is.
All right, let's get it.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, I'm gonna write this out first, and sorry, so we,
Schedule 35 tree replant.
I know, I'm just writing and thinking, right, hold on.
Mhm. And Matt, you will be able to sit with the homeowners and make the decisions as to what trees will go in where, and you'll be able to submit a schedule of what's getting planted, where it's getting planted and when.
Good.
He doesn't
Yeah,
need a
so
sketch.
my understanding is we'll do a mixture of trees and shrubs.
Yep, I'm gonna read off special conditions in a second,
Yep.
what kind of survival rate?
75%.
Stick with what a replication, what we look for in a replication. 75%, that's a good solid number.
Survival after
So we'll
1
have a
year.
good 29 to 30.
No wood chips outside the fence.
Mhm.
I'm gonna read this off, I'm just talking out loud.
You can go into silver maples, red maples, dogwoods.
Okay, so
Blueberry.
I'm gonna make a motion that we, that this is a -3 determination. Work described in the request is within the buffer zone as defined in the regulations, but will not alter an area subject to jurisdiction under the act. Therefore, said work, does not require the filing notice of intent subject to the following conditions. Hold on.
Will that stay a -3?
Yes. Why?
It's not riverfront. Would be -2.
35 foot.
So 1-to-1 replication of trees and shrubs.
Sounds good.
It is. Can you actually shut the door, please? Neither walk. Thank you, Pat.
Senior member, I want to disrespect.
Yes. Great. Special conditions to include 1-to-1 replication, thank you, Pat, of trees and shrubs, silt fence and wattle installed, 75% survival after 1 year, no wood chips outside fence, stumps to remain within 35 foot.
Mhm.
Sounds good.
Kevin? Sounds good.
Yep.
Jessica,
She's leaving.
Sorry, I'm trying to catch up and type at the same time. Only outstanding thing still is NHESP, mainly because that was the DEP comment. So I don't know if you wish to strongly recommend that the applicant check with them or not, but that is your call.
well, if you put a date on it, I'm listening to the commissioners, so if no one wants to add it, I'm not gonna.
Whole bunch of heads going right and left, not north to south.
Yeah, let's leave it as
Can you
is.
bless this with, so I made the motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Oh, Pat got it.
I had a little thunder coming to me, but no, that's fine.
It's on top of it tonight. Any discussion, Matt, if you wanna add to it, I don't think there's nothing really to add,
You look pretty happy, Matt. What do you-
roll call vote, please.
Pat Jamal, yes.
We're in a
I want
meeting.
you there.
We're in a meeting,
Yes.
excuse me, we're in a meeting right now.
Jimmy,
What?
Jim Ryan, yes.
Let's start over. Roll call vote, please.
Pat Jamal, yes.
James Drawing, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Kevin Smith, yes.
Matt, can you believe it?
So Matt, you'll get us a list of plants and,
I'm planting schedule.
yes, the planting schedule.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
And I kind of ran, yeah, I'm not. And we will be doing inspections, so.
Thank you, Matt.
No, thank you. I really appreciate working with you guys here on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Matt,
you. Thank you to the homeowners for their patience.
for your patience and, I mean.
Thank you,
definitely-
guys. We appreciate it.
Moving on, being interrupted. I know, I'm just collecting myself because that kind of pissed me off.
Mary Jane?
Yeah, that was not necessary.
It's meeting.
So 3.4, we moved to our 9:25 meeting.
Yeah.
Transmittal Planning Board Decision 108, Fitchburg Road.
Which was brought up last night, too.
Okay, you can tell me after.
All right.
Notice hereby given that a age restricted development special permit site plan review, special permit and a stormwater permit, management permit, SM 2024-02, according to Townsend bylaw, it's granted to Phil Calametta. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, it's just like in the middle of a decision. And then MACC Fall Conference, the listing is available here if anyone would like it for classes.
Can I cut in super fast? DEP sent out an educational opportunity today for a webinar online on next Thursday, September 19th from 11 to 12:30. And it's called The Basics of Site Inspections and Buttoning Up Construction Sites for the Winter. In case anyone is interested, let me know and I can hook you up with that meeting access.
Can you set the person up with a computer?
No, but someone could come into the office and we can make some popcorn.
Kevin needs.
No, I have to deal with it every fall on several jobs.
So again, if anyone would like a copy of the list, it is available right now. So that's all also covers under everything's under education conferences in this items for discussion at the next meeting. Vote for officers. Jessica, do we have anything? Any permits in the works?
For the 25th, you have a request for COC for 21 Emery Road. And I think that's it.
I don't know.
Okay. So no one leave until like, yeah. Sign the RDA for 30 Shirley, but next meeting is Wednesday, September 25th and October 9th, 2024, 7 p.m. Board of Select Chambers, second floor. This meeting will also be held via Zoom, remote in accordance with COVID-19 safe meeting guidelines. Can I get a motion to adjourn at 8:41 p.m.?
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 8:41 p.m.
I'll second that. Second, Patrick.
Pat seconded, roll call vote starting with Pat.
Patrick, yes.
James Strong, yes.
James Gates, yes.
Comments from the media.